as you come around that curve, that telephone pole right there, that driveway, 2121, it sits in an angle where it kind of blocks it. And then once you get around that pole, you're looking straight down at that intersection, and there's a line of mailboxes, and that stop sign sitting down low enough, it's behind those mailboxes. It's hard to see until you get right up on it. So maybe if the sign was up higher where they could actually see it when they come around that curve, that might help. And a bigger stop thing painted on the roadway, but
Mayor Ashton, what about if you do a blinking stop sign? An LED solar panel blinking stop sign?
One of the problems that we encountered with that was that it costs. We've looked at that at other intersections and
I know they're expensive, we
pretty
just did it out
pricey.
at Willow Park.
That would be ideal, but it's so pricey apparently.
Because I pulled it up on Google Maps and there's no street light or anything for anybody to see it at night, so you're taking care of one thing during the day, which yes, you're taking care of it at night too, but just like he was saying with the speed bumps, people aren't going to see it at night typically if you do those black rubber ones, so doing something lit up there.
I think that the intent was that they would actually put some type of a bright speed bump there if they were going to do that. I'm also interested in doing the rumble strips. That's something, again, we can go back to the drawing board and look at that.
Do you know anything about those?
Yes, this particular case, it'd be some glued down strips. It'd be similar to what you're talking about, but it's not as high, but they're actually adhesive down with some construction. You just put them down every 4 to 6 inches until you get the effect that you want, and we can do that.
Is it any easier or harder than the bump?
Probably about the same, probably more maintenance, due to the fact that you've got some more of them versus the bump.
Well, I tend to believe with Dan that over the years, we've never added them for a lot of reasons. Now, this use is different than we've ever talked about, which is why I could get okay with it, but, certainly not in the middle of the street, straight away like was done, because that just made good sense. I think everyone figured that out. But if we could do something different, I would rather do something different.
Our primary advocate for this whole thing isn't in his
Right.
seat tonight, and so
Well, that's why
I think there would be more voice coming from that. Like I said, this is just at the response to the citizens in the area. And there's a suggestion.
We want something done.
Well, it sounds like we can put the strips down and maybe we can raise the sign up, make it easier to see, and then we can see if that makes a difference. And I don't think you need any council action to put some strips down and raise the sign, so.
Rumble strip, I have seen some that look like they're not bolted, but, they look like they're bolted. I don't know how they're attached to the concrete, but I've seen them, they look like they're bolted. They may have put something in the ground and then bolted it.
well, those ones out at the airport, they look like they just score the road itself.
Yeah, there's some that they dig them out, but I think they need to be up instead of down.
They're just lines drawn or little trenches where you drive over, it makes a noise.
I don't want to dig into our road.
That's not do that.
That creates potholes.
Well, that's another thing with the humps that we've got. We got enough problems with the potholes, and now you're going to take a pothole and invert it and make a speed hump out of it. It's still a problem. I just never been a proponent of them. After seeing what Fort Worth, when I was president of our neighborhood association in Heights, there was a lot of people that asked for those things, and within 6 months they were begging the city to come back and take
They
those
built
things.
them too tall though, Dan, that was the problem. We built them wide, and not wide enough for as tall as they built, and the average Camry wouldn't even clear them.
That and when they're first put in, they're painted, that white, like the crosswalk paint or whatever that paint is. But after a month or 2 or 3, you can't see them. They fade out, and then they just kind of blend into the road, and people are driving down the road and they hit those things. And as near as, you would think some of our streets over here, the cars parked on both sides of the road, they get that thing. and then they lose control. Then they went in there and split them, because the fire department says, you know, they're tearing up our trucks. And then the next thing you know, they're taking them up. So they were just spending money after money, and they weren't getting the compliance that they were wanting. People are still running over them and still at speed.
I think that if we're gonna do, speed bumps, I would like the ones like Lake Worth has, because those work, they work. I mean, and they're like all the way down, you cannot speed down that at all. Because by the time you pick up speed, it's time to stop again, because there's another one, you know.
The idea is that in a lot of instances, and like I said, I felt like this was something I could bring to you guys, you could bat it around if you said that it was not something, we could go in a different direction. I just think that it's, in some areas, if we think outside the box, if we've never done it before, we can try it. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to the drawing board, we try it until we make it work. You know, if we spin our wheels over and over again, not getting anywhere, we're not coming up with some solution. That's what you guys are for, and I feel like
Because of the specifics of this location where we're wanting people to stop anyway, I'm fine with looking at this down the road if it doesn't work, but I think right now, we'll see what the strips and raising the sign does.
Thanks, guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take action to deny the request.
You want that, or we just take no
Or do
action?
we take no action?
That's how you want to do it.
Yeah, we'll take no action on item 12 this week.
But what about the rumbles? Are we gonna recommend that, or we gonna take that up later?
We don't have to.
We're gonna look it up, okay.
So, we don't need any action on item 12, having requested staff look at the rumble strips and the raising the sign, so we'll move to item 13, which is consider the approval of the previous request from Erica Kaywood, requesting to expand the community center, the community garden to be located on the west side of community center property. And I understand Shirley's gonna...
Shirley's here, but she's not.
Yeah, it says here, Shirley would be here to answer any questions on the behalf regarding the property. So do we have any questions?
I'm not dressed very much. We've been working it up for how much time it was.
That's okay. So I guess Marvin or Gordon, do you have anything to present on this before we ask?
What did y'all agree
Any
on,
questions?
size-wise, or?
We agreed on, making, it's gonna be raised beds, so that it can be mowed and weeded and kept looking nice. No groundbreaking. I had 5 of those big pots that they plant trees in. You know, they're probably this wide, not that deep. So, we're gonna use them. And we brought home some horse troughs that are watering for horses and cows, but they've got some little holes in them, so it'd be great for the dirt. Like, Lori, Watson has some in front of her house, they're really nice. And they're about as long as that section of chairs right there. And so far, that's all we have. But we talked about, I can't remember his name, Eric? Hers is Erica, his is Eric, I believe.
I believe so.
Anyway, he talked about building some wooden raised, you know. I don't know how much they're going to put in there. They've already got seedlings started. And I planted flowers in some of our pots, and we've already got honeybees. They're already coming, you know. So, that makes me feel good, because we haven't seen too many honeybees in the last couple of years. They've just been, my garden did nothing last year. But anyway, they're early, so I think it's great. But, we did have one tiny little glitch. Someone, and I don't know who it was, put on the River Oak site online that you're strongly, or I can't remember the words, strongly encouraged to wear a mask. And if you want to wear one, that's fine, but you can't use the city as a vehicle to say that. And I explained to her that that's a city building. I'll be there and working, but I'll be a volunteer when I'm working. And they are volunteers, and she can't convey those ideas. And anyway, I hope